It's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be roll call.
Murphy.
Here.
Graves.
Here.
Now.
Here.
Me.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
West.
Here. So pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to take a moment of silence if they like. Take a motion to approve the agenda with the exception we'll remove the closed session and we can review that information we received tonight. And there's still some clarification on the fees that they need to get yet. So.
I do have a question first. I was wondering when we discussed the light duty policy. No, when did we? Because it's unfinished business. So it wouldn't be an unfinished business, it'd be under new business.
New business, then.
Unless we have prior to.
Well, we have in the past, but this is just a route.
So then Robert's Rules of Orders would require it to remain on unfinished business to every agenda from the time we talked about it until now.
Yes. We can attack it as new business, can we not?
We can.
To new business today, just for sake of staying legit.
Sounds good to go.
Right.
Take a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Oh yeah, that's the new business
Yeah, we'll put that under new business. And
for
that'll
this
be-
meeting.
Yeah, for this meeting.
Just so everybody's aware, new business got left off the agenda on this on accident, but we got it on there now.
Everyone's had a chance to review the previous meeting's minutes. If there are no additions or corrections, they'll stand approved as presented. We have no visitors and there was no public comment sent in. So we'll move on to officers' report, CFO report.
No, that's on page 3. I did want to let you guys know the auditor did come a week or so ago, and I checked with her today. We're going to shoot for August 27th for her to be here on it. So I've sent that to Katie to get that on the agenda for that. Page 3 is sales tax receipts. June sales tax receipts were $353,744.74. That is about $27,000 more than last year for that period. And year over year, we're up $132,000, or almost 6%. Page 4 is our budget performance year to date. So you can see their revenues are up over budget almost 14%. And operating expenses at 73% of budget. Any questions on that?
Refresh my reading of page 3 there.
Sure.
Typically, the events of town are not reflected until the following month, correct?
It's usually 2 months.
2 months, okay.
Yeah, so what is showing there is what we received. I said June, but it's actually July, because I can't see a straight line. Was received in July, it
Right,
was paid in June,
correct.
so it's generally May's actual sales.
So I was just trying to figure out what, we have a bigger average for September than we do for October. The fair doesn't hit us until the October, right?
Generally.
So it's just regular tourism that's up in August, then back to school
I would
sales
say
and
back to
things like
school,
that.
but I don't know.
I was just trying to figure out what caused that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's my guess. It's back to school stuff. All right. Pages 5 through 8 is the budget performance details. So again, same information, just showed a little bit different compared current year revenues and expenses compared to the annual budget. So we should be about 50% at June. Revenues up. EMS equipment, that I have that in yellow, that is due to all that equipment that we purchased that was not budgeted for. So we'll probably need to do a budget amendment for that. Wages and salaries is still hanging in there at 50.79% of budget. And remember, we haven't done an amendment to change what wages were decided on after the budget either, so. Uniforms, I think that's just a timing issue that it's at 71%. Switching people, doing it just a little different.
When we get to 100%, does that mean every person has spent their $400 for the year?
That would mean everybody spent their $400 and I don't know what else.
Well, that's
Like
what
there's
I'm
hats
wondering.
and t-shirts and things that aren't
Those don't
included.
count on the $400.
Not on like new hires. So, and we gotta keep in mind too, we have been adding staff. So, we keep getting new staff, so.
But we haven't added generosity to the uniform allowance.
No, but you know, every time we get new people, we, more uniforms just have to push, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions on any of that? Page 9 is our capital expenses. So again, you can see there that EMS equipment. This is the cash outlay that we paid. So that's not the total cost of the equipment. This is just what we paid out so far on that. I think that is everything. You guys have seen all of that. There's nothing new there as far as equipment purchases. Any questions on any of that? Page 10 is our balance sheet, previous year comparison. And you can see the change in assets there. And then you can also see on page 11, that note payable zone, that is what is remaining on that equipment to be paid. Page 12 is our profit and loss previous year comparison. The revenue is up, so our expenses year over year. Any questions on any of those?
Is the Windsor increase of 11,000 roughly in line with what we would have expected?
So you're looking at where do you see 11,000?
The difference between, oh, I'm sorry, it's 111,000, isn't it there?
Yes, so
Yeah.
that is due to
Yeah.
the increased sales tax.
Right, but that's not out of bounds high or low, is it, from expectations? Because
It is, I mean, it is.
difficult to forecast.
It is difficult to forecast that, but this year is the highest it'll be. It's gonna go down next year because they have to roll back property tax for 50% of the sales tax, so.
All right.
So this
thank you.
year's kind of a outlier.
That's what I was, thank you.
And then I handed you guys out, I hadn't had a chance to get the profit and loss by class where it splits out Edison and Windsor. So I got that done today. We had, with our switching software, I had to figure out how to get new reports, so took me a little longer than usual. So, so here's the breakout between Pettis and Windsor. And then at the bottom, you can see the allocation of Pettis calls ran from Windsor. So right now, Windsor with the allocations is in the black, about 300,000. So that's for half the year. So it'll continue to go down because we've already got the payments. So any questions on any of that? Page 13 is our bank balances, month over month on the top half and year over year on the bottom half. So month over month, we're up almost 180,000. Year over year, 1.1. Chart, of course. Page 14 is our cash reserve analysis, slightly up from last month at this point. And then the check register follows pages 15 through 20. And then the bills follow that. there's any questions on any of that, or any of those.
When does a building insurance come around again?
January. With you?
Just talking to people from two different churches, and they've had huge increases. They're just short of double. One went from just under 10 to 19, and the other one went from 11 to 19 something. It's 20.
So a few years ago, I think it was a few years ago, they had to increase our values, how much it would cost to build, because it increased so dramatically since COVID. So I think that might have happened even just last year, but I thought it was 2023 when that big increase happened, but it was not double for us.
Yeah,
So
that's why
hopefully,
both of them were shocked that it would come that much this time around.
I mean, I don't of course know, but that's my guess. Part of it's claims and part of it's not the church's claims, but claims as a nation. And values.
Is there any way to feel them out so we kind of are braced for it, where there's those coming?
I mean, Christian usually comes and talks to us. It varies on when, but September, October, and he kind of tells us what he's seeing.
Because it's gonna jump anyway, building the new station, we're gonna have to ensure that as well, so. Okay, thank you.
That's in my report, if there's no other questions.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion to receive the CFO report. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Take a motion to approve payment of the outstanding bills. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We have no unfinished business. We'll move on to new business, light duty policy.
So I have quite a few questions.
I'll do my best. I didn't write it, but I'll do my best.
Okay. So the first, my first question is, I'm assuming this is a new policy because it didn't have.
Correct.
Okay, it didn't have the, because I was trying to go back and compare it to, I thought this was an update. Is this policy only in reference to workers' compensation?
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that, okay, that's what we're looking at. So if somebody were to be hurt on the job, not if I'm out on my ATV and break my leg.
Mhm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Some of this stuff, I mean, with policies, because once you put something in writing, it opens up liabilities and whatnot. I like things to be clear. So some of the questions I had was, I'm wondering if in the first section, if the word incapacitated would be the right term to use. I mean, per the dictionary, it's deprived of capacity or natural power, made incapable or unfit for normal functioning. But usually when you say somebody's incapacitated, you're thinking, yes, or on, in a coma, or, incapacitated, I think might not be the right word to use right there. Because generally, if you're incapacitated, you can't return to work.
What's less than incapacitated?
Inhibited, incapable, which is close to that.
And in fact, I'm actually thinking that's the whole thing, to assist employees who are incapacitated in their return to work. they're not returning to their normal job because it'd be to light duty, so it's not even returning. I mean,
So if work was replaced by the two words scheduled duty, would you feel better? In their return to scheduled duty?
so I was actually wondering, since I have a lot more, do we really want to go through all this tonight, or is this something we want to go over and then bring it back to the board, or?
Well,
I mean, we can-
when we do, we'd be answering the same question.
Yeah, if you've got questions, she just will have them. So,
Okay.
Go for it.
All right, well, I mean, so and to assist those who are incapacitated in their return to work. So I guess that word, it's just that word incapacitated.
Can I build on one of your previous questions though? If somebody badly sprains an ankle, let's say it's Ryan, he can do his work, but if it's somebody that has to go up, they can't do their work. And so if that injury is riding your ATV, then what is the district's responsibility to that person for their inability to perform their job if they didn't suffer it? If they suffer it in the line of duty at work, then it's a workman's comp case. If it's not, we're still extending the opportunity to them to do something.
Are we, that's my question.
So this
That's the
policy
purpose
is-
of this. is to-
Well, the policy is kind of limiting it to workers' compensation.
Okay, so this is only workers' comp cases
That's,
that
I
this
mean, that's
gets
what
in.
that is the purpose for.
So if Ryan can't type because he shut his fingers in a car door or something, then he's out of luck then, huh? Or he has to come and do this or something. Well, I don't know, I'm just, somebody that's the more,
So in general, it's generally our operational staff that get injured,
yes.
obviously, and they're usually put on restrictions of some sort, that they cannot lift, or they can't go upstairs, or they can't drive a vehicle, or, different things like that. So that's what it's kind of.
So up to now, that's just been handled on a case-by-case basis without
So-
any policy?
Yes, in general, if we have light duty available, it's been offered, if they're released to light.
But you're not obligated to, it's just, you take that on a case by case. How's that worked out for you? Have you ever had any issues?
So we've had lots of people that have done light duty, not just for workman's comp, but for other issues that they couldn't do their full duty. Maybe they had to have surgery for some reason, or, I'm trying to think of all the various reasons. But, so, I mean, in general, if we've had it, we've allowed that. I think Roy was trying to get it limited to be for workers' compensation.
Right.
And we do have short-term disability insurance that covers employees if they have to be off for a surgery or, something that happens outside of work.
If they broke their foot and had to be home for 2 weeks, do they use sick days?
If they have them, they can use those. And if they exceed their sick time, then their short-term disability is available. So we pay for that for all employees.
So I just wondered if we had pre-established procedures that
Yeah, so if they have sick time available, then yes, they're able to use that.
they should use that. That should come first, right?
I mean, that's up to them. If they use sick time, they don't get short-term disability because short-term is decreased by any other payments. So if it's work comp goes first. If it's, they're using sick time or vacation time, that goes first before short-term will kick in. So,
Okay.
So then should we in here say that this is restricted to workers' compensation only? Or to injuries on duty?
Workers' comp, it has to be.
Right. That's what I'm saying, but you said that there's been instances
And
where.
that's what this is for, to help reduce workers' compensation and other related costs.
But it doesn't say injured while at work.
Okay. And of course, I'm speaking for people that aren't here, so I might be
Well, we're not-
completely wrong on this, so.
Yeah, no,
I don't think there'd be any real reason to take action on this until the next meeting, but now's a good time to talk about it.
Okay.
If there's some questions, that'd be one of the questions, how to
Uh,
clarify who's eligible.
So then the next thing is it says in the return to work, still in the first paragraph, district administration may at its sole discretion offer temporary light duty. But then later down, it says in the event, let's see, under eligibility 1, 2, 3, in the middle, in that event, the organization will review the employee situation. And then,
That's if they're determined to have sustained permanent restrictions.
right, so I'm not referring to this sentence, I'm referring, and then the next one, it says in general, the district. So you now refer to district administration, organization, and district. Who
So
are those three entities?
So, I mean, the organization is the district, so I mean, you could change that word. Definitely.
But it says the district will review the employee situation. So is that the board? Is that Roy? Is that?
It's probably all, any and all, as a whole. That's why it's the district instead of just administration.
Okay, so then we're gonna take out administration at the top then?
No, because that's a separate, this is separate. So this is just saying district administration in its sole discretion, I can't speak, offer temporary light duty assignments if available. This is talking about a whole another issue if the patient, if the employee is medically permanently restricted.
Okay. Understood.
That's the way I read it
Yeah,
anyways. It's
okay.
a separate,
So that makes sense, okay.
separate level of an injury.
Okay.
Is this verbiage taken from another district's handbook,
I cannot answer that.
or did the lawyer send it to us?
The lawyer did not send it to us. He
Okay.
read it and approved it, but he did not write it.
Right.
So I don't know where the verbiage came
Well,
from. What you got?
Okay, so under eligibility, the first paragraph says to be eligible for light or restricted duty. So now we're entering another word, restricted duty. So what's the difference between light and restricted duty?
I guess it depends on what the doctor says.
Healthcare provider,
But what are the definitions of light and restricted
that's
duty?
up to him.
Yeah, so generally, when we get, like, when they've seen the doctor, I'm trying to remember what exactly those boxes look like. I just saw one the other day and I didn't read it real close. But there's like restrictions where they're not allowed to work at all, light duty with restrictions, or fully released is what I'm picturing. I might be wrong about that.
so would it read better, Eric, if it said light/restricted? As opposed to making it a binary choice, light or?
Well,
We can just take or restricted out, just for.
Well, yeah, that's my only concern is because then at the top it says offers temporary light duty assignments,
But
but then it says restricted duty. So that, yeah, it's all about, I mean, I've written a lot of policies in my lifetime and we've learned from them. It's just consistency,
Mhm.
so people can't, and I'm not saying for nefarious reasons.
No, but
we
that
don't
top
want people
paragraph,
questioning.
frames what the situation is. Then it says we go to the eligibility, and to be eligible, and it could easily say light/restricted. Either one would still apply. They have to be full-time and have been released. Does that make sense?
For light duty work, yeah. We can use, I think, if we can say be eligible for light.
But your part-timers wouldn't be eligible for this.
No,
Okay, that's a good.
no, not part-time.
Okay, next paragraph, where it says light duty assignments under this policy is a temporary job assignment. And then it says such light duty assignments are temporary assignments only. I just feel like that's redundant. So it'd say something like light duty assignments under this policy is a temporary job assignment from employees. And then it would say, these assignments are not vacant, it'd be period. These assignments not vacant or permanent positions within the district's workforce. It's just a redundancy because you already said it's temporary. It's like here it says temporary, so then you would say such light duty assignments are temporary assignments only. You just kill that and say these assignments are not vacant or permanent positions within the district's workforce. So then the availability of such light duty assignments depends on the employee's restrictions and the business needs of the district. Who determines the business needs of the district and how? Because I'm just worried if somebody gets light duty and then they say, well, so-and-so had light duty when they got injured, but I'm denied light duty. I'm just wondering how the business needs of the district, who decides that and how that's decided.
Well, think about those Florida college athletes who paid for their job to keep the alligators out of the stadium. They made up some stuff for them. It would make up work things. So that really wasn't a need. I'm guessing this is to legitimize the work, not just to make work. Like
Yeah.
changing
So
the
that's
air and the top.
Roy and Flo generally decide if there's things that need to be done that they can, with their restrictions, can do.
Yeah.
And then the last sentence in that, the available number of hours allowed for light duty assignments will not match or equal an operational employee's normal hours or schedule. What does that mean?
So generally light duty's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our operational employees work at least 48 hours a week, if not 50, what is that, 56 hours, 52 hours.
So they'll still,
They won't have any overtime space for them.
okay, but they will still get their full,
No, because they're used to overtime.
oh, well, but
They're scheduled
overtime,
overtime.
scheduled overtime, but they will.
That's what that's saying. You're not gonna work 96 hours in a 2-week period.
It'd be an 8-to-5 job.
Right.
And I suppose all 5 days a week, right?
Correct.
So if you were used to, if you had 2 jobs, you're gonna miss your other job while you're doing light duty, because you're 8 to 5, 5 days a week.
Correct. I mean, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
So how does that fit in with workers' compensation? Because if they were being paid workers' compensation, they would receive 2/3 of their pay.
They're so they still receive 2/3 less whatever they get paid for light duty. So if 2/3 of their normal pay is $1,000 and they're getting paid $500, I'm just making up numbers, it's not anywhere close to anybody's actual wages, but
Right.
then the difference gets paid by work comp.
Okay, so they will receive the max amount under workers' comp if their
It's-
light duty doesn't meet that.
It's just
Okay.
reducing our payout to
Right.
try to keep our premiums.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the savings are there. I'm trying to digest what you're saying. We would pay out less, so that would lower our work comp rate. But the employee would break even, and it's still costing us the same wage-wise.
It's better if we pay them.
It's better if we pay them then, because we're saving the next year from higher insurance on accidents that don't happen.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the theme.
Yes.
Okay, so second to last paragraph, again, okay, it says in the first sentence, healthcare provider approved an assignment for the injured employee. And then in the last paragraph, it says, however, if the employee's injury or illness. So again, just consistencies. So are we including injuries and illnesses?
So, yes, because go back to COVID. If an employee got COVID during that period, that was in public safety, that was deemed to be a work comp injury. Even though it's an illness, it was deemed to be work comp payable. So that's why I think the illness is in. We hope we never see that again, but because we don't know, that's why that's there.
So I'm just wondering if we can, like, okay, so if we say from the employee's treating healthcare provider approving the assignment of the employee, I mean, do we have to, we know that we're referring to somebody who's already, because again, consistency. So here it says injured, here it says injury or illness. If we just said, again, I'm just, again, I've seen where policies, when there's inconsistencies and people bring up questions, then you get into trouble. So, I mean, would it matter if you just say provider approving the assignment for the employee? I mean, we know.
I got injured.
That's what I'm thinking.
And just to clarify, this has already been approved by our attorney, so I mean, we're gonna have to send it back through when we make all these changes, so.
So we already paid him once, huh?
So. What else you got in there?
Well then, so. I think that's it, other than in the last paragraph, second line, it says may affect the employee's right with no apostrophe after the S. And then you have, however, if the employee's injury with the apostrophe, and then at the end, impact the employee's rights with apostrophe at the end. It should all be the apostrophes.
Yeah, it's just a typo there.
Do all three of them, so they get at least one right.
I mean, they did get, it's 1 for 3, so. And I believe Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so. Okay, that's all.
I appreciate you looking at that, Eric.
Absolutely.
But the overall effort to reduce workman's comp, to provide an alternative employment and to have a punitive piece for people who refuse to do that, I think those are all appropriate. This thing is a good policy to have, I believe.
Yeah, yes, I didn't want to,
And eliminating chances for complications is good, so thank you for that.
yeah, that was my only concern. No, I absolutely, to keep costs down, to give them the chance to, continue to work. I didn't have anything against it. I didn't want that to come out, but like I said, I have, in my past careers, I've seen a lot of strange things. So I try to avoid those in the future.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the light duty policy?
Well, I'd like to, after Jamie makes a few changes and corrections, I'd like for Roy and Flo to be here before we vote on it.
Yeah, we'll table it. We'll have to clarify those things.
So I guess that motion to table this to the next meeting then.
Yeah, just run it by the lawyer too, yeah.
Sure.
She goes over with it.
Well, then
And
should,
I don't think Roy,
When would the said policy go into effect? The day after we vote?
well,
Is there any rush?
so it has to be 30 days for the union to review it. So I don't know, the next meeting's during the fair, so Roy is at the fair every day, all day,
But he
for
could
the
at
10
least
days, so I don't know,
He could
if
at
he would
least
be here or
address
not.
our concerns and
yeah,
send any information back through you then.
yeah.
But we don't have a deadline that we have to have this into the union by, do we?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
And then we should probably do that before we send it back to the lawyer, just in case they say anything different. We don't pay them what they're done.
No, we just have, it's not that they have to approve it, it's that
They're
they get
checking.
30 days notice before it goes into effect.
No, I meant the lawyer. I meant like let Roy and Flo look at it to see if they
Oh,
they
yeah.
agree with our changes before we send it back to the lawyer. And then if they say, oh, no, we wanted to change this, and then we have to send it back again, that's what.
Did you have a word suggestion for investing?
I didn't get that
Okay.
far. I mean, I can send one tomorrow when I think about it a little bit.
Okay, that's
A little bit more. I just thought that was, like I said, when you think about it, I won't really do that, sorry.
what you saying.
Yes.
So we have a motion on the floor to table this, so clarify in that second. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Are there any announcements? Not going to take a motion to adjourn the meeting.